Steve Wolbach, your friendly public adjuster. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about representation during the claim process. When you have, regarding homeowners claims, when you have a situation that you suffer damage, you have the option to either represent yourself or get somebody to represent for you. Now, when we go into a legal process through the court of law, when you get representation, the individual that is cited for this, the individual that is had gone to school, has training for, and the protocol, the procedure is you have a lawyer who represents you in this case. That's what his training allows him to do. Okay. Depending on what type of law you're dealing with, you have different types of lawyers. One is corporate law, one is civil law, one is the trial attorney. I mean, we have all sorts of different types of lawyers. But they are there for a very specific type of action. In the homeowner's arena, when you have damage to your property going through a claim process, there is also somebody that has been identified, and the procedure states this is who is able to do this, to represent you during a claim process. And there's two people. Either you do it yourself or you get a public adjuster. In the state's government, whatever state you are in, under the Division of Insurance and Banking, you have public adjusters. Public adjusters' job and duty is to represent the the homeowner against the insurance company through the process of the claim. As they file the claim on the behalf of the homeowner, and they will then present the case and the case being present the damage. There's something in the policy called the duties of the policy, and under the duties of the policy it actually is your responsibility as a homeowner. Most people don't realize that. When that insurance adjuster comes through the door, and you think he's coming in because obviously he's coming in because you called and filed a claim, right? But when he walks through that door, he's representing the insurance company's best interest. Now, who's representing yours? So he knows what your policy says. Most homeowners don't know what their policy says, though. So you're going to rely on him to make sure that your best interests are taken care of. It can't work that way. He has a loyalty to one or the other. He can't have a loyalty to both. So obviously his loyalty is to the insurance company. They're the people that pay his salary, right? However way he gets paid, commission, salary, what have you. Your policy states you have the responsibility to present your damage to the insurance company to show them why you should be paid X amount of dollars. And if you waive that right by not doing it, that's in essence what you're doing, then now the insurance adjuster will go in and do things. And insurance adjusters know most homeowners are not equipped to do this, and they aren't. I mean, quite frankly, you aren't. You don't have that training. You don't have the knowledge. You certainly don't know what the procedures would be. So you rely on him. So he takes it to a certain step of do things to get this through the process. Unfortunately, again, he's on this side, working with you, while you're on this side. You're not on the same side. It just doesn't work that way. The object is the insurance adjuster is to come out, a claim's been filed, to get this to be handled and settled and move behind as quickly and as smoothly as possible, which normally means that you are not going to be paid as much and as fairly as what you could. Now, that's not every single time. It's just an extremely high percentage that it happens this way. But the point I want to get back to now is, through that process, if you make sure that you have somebody looking out for your needs, looking out for your rights, you can't go wrong. Then the outcome is going to be that much more positive. Now, depending on what your policy is, if you don't have good coverage, there's nobody that can do anything for you there. You know, that's just the way it is. Provided the policy has the adequate coverage that you need for that specific peril that had just taken place, causing your damage. A public adjuster can do an outstanding job to get you as much as we can within the policy limits, which is going to be a far better dollar value than if you do this on your own. What you can't do, or let me rephrase that, what you should not be doing, and we see this happen all the time, is get somebody which is from one of the trades representing your best interest. They can't. Number one, it's illegal. They're not public adjusters. Well, let me rephrase this. Unless they've actually gone and gotten their license to become a public adjuster, it's illegal for them to do that. And if they're doing that in Pennsylvania, if they were to come out as a roofer initially, because you've had roofing damage where there was a leak on the roof, it got inside your attic. Now the attic has a lot of different personal property up there that has now been damaged. It's wet your insulation, it's come down to the ceiling in the living room, and now that's damaged too. Let's take it one more step. And the damage actually came down and had damaged your floor. So you have all these different levels. So you called the roofer out initially, that's where it all started, right? In Pennsylvania, he has to make a decision. Either he can stay as the roofer and do that for you, or he needs to turn into and put on his public adjuster's hat, and he can say, hey, I can settle this claim for you, and I will be happy to represent you through the process and get you funds at a settlement so that you can have work done. But he cannot be part of doing that work then if he's adjusted that claim. Now in New Jersey, it's different. They can do both things, but they still need to have their license. If he doesn't have his license at all, number one, bets are off. He's coming there as a roofer or as a plumber or whatever capacity he's coming in. If they do not have a license, it doesn't matter what state, it is illegal. I don't know if you heard what I said. It is illegal for them to represent you to the insurance company and have a settlement made. You know, and we hear it all the time. I'm not picking on roofers, but that's an easy scenario for the homeowner to understand. So I'll use that as an example. It happens so often where you've had a roof problem. There's other damage, like we said. But the roofer, he can only take care of the roof. That's what his expertise is. Roofers usually don't do drywall inside. They don't usually do painting. As far as getting money for your personal property, the roofer, most of them, and I'm going to say an extremely high percentage, has no idea what your policy says because he doesn't have that training. It's not in his job description. You know, it's not my job. When they sometimes move into that transition to try to do that for you, that's going to hurt you because you're not going to get the best settlement you can from the insurance company. Now, insurance companies are very quick to want to do this, and very quickly, simply because they know that they are going to be paying out less to get this claim to go away than if there is a public adjuster that actually knows the full procedure, that understands the policies, and knows how to execute the different provisions within the policy against the insurance company. Remember, the policy, who wrote the policy? That's right, the insurance company did. So they've already got everything stacked in their favor. All a public adjuster can do is level the playing field and say, well, I know what your policy says. And when certain things have happened, and it's within the conditions of what the policy is affording, I'm going to exercise them to make sure that letter is followed. A roofer or a plumber hasn't had that type of training, hasn't had that experience. He can't look at that policy and do these things unless he's gotten his license. Remember, there's always that little caveat. If he's gone and gotten his license, he should have that training and he should be qualified to do that. And in New Jersey, he can do the whole thing for you. In Pennsylvania, he has to choose. Either I stop being a roofer now, time out, and I'm going to go and just adjust this property for you, and you'll have to get somebody else to come and do the roof and fix all the other repairs, or he's going to stay there, and it's up to you to either represent yourself, which is a no-no, or get a public adjuster in here to help you. It's your choice. But I just wanted to point that out. So many times the contractors are saying, I'll take care of it. Look, whatever the insurance company's going to pay me for the roof, I'll accept that. You just pay me the deductible and we'll be fine. You should never go that way. Never. Okay? You want somebody that's looking out for the roofer. Unfortunately, he wants to do a roof. I can't fault him for that, right? That's his bread and butter. Well, a public adjuster's bread and butter is the whole thing, the whole turnkey operation. That's what we get paid to do. That's what we want to represent you for. So we'll make sure the damage that was inside, again, working within the constraints, the confines of the policy. That's always the key there. What will the policy allow? What are their limits? We'll identify them and make sure we can get as much as we can using the policy like that, as opposed to I can put a new roof on for you and just pay me, and then you have all this other damage. All right, I think that makes sense to you guys. Think about that a little bit. You can call somebody like me, your friendly public adjuster, or call another one. That's fine. Just get representation for you. You don't have to use me. There's plenty of claims out there people are not using me for. I am being used for some, but I'm not getting all of them, and that's okay. But if you want to make sure that you've done everything you can, it's called your due diligence, and I'm not going to say that 3 times fast, but if you do that, it would make sense to get representation as a public adjuster and let them take care of the process for you. Guys, I hope you learned something from this. I hope you take it to heart. Share this with other people. If you like this, give me one of those. I know, you can do that too if you want. Subscribe, please. Subscribe to my page so you'll get this when I do a new one. Hit that little bell and that gives you notification that I've got another video out. I'm here giving this information out to you guys to help you. Like I said, you don't have to use my services. You could use somebody else's services. And if you use somebody else's, there's nothing in it for me. But at least I've given you good information that hopefully you will benefit from it. That's the whole point of this. Or I could go somewhere and do something else. I'm here trying to help you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you listen. God bless you.